Action impact number 19. Again, I'm going to try to at least make it to 20 on these. Um, it's been a week since I filmed the last one, and, I was making them every day, and I'd like to get back to that, but, um, who knows? Maybe I'll do two in one day. 19 is WAZE. When I think about the word WAZE, I think about a path or a pathway, and um, they're full of twists and turns and ups and downs, and to how punny, right? But when I really look at the path that we're taking, or that our country's taking, or the path that your own path in life, and um, maybe you're taking that path together with someone. Um, Try not to put a label on it for as long as you can. One thing about a pathway is I don't feel like it should have a sign to where it's going until you know where it ends. Um, for me, I think when I look at a path, like the only reason you should put a label on it is, um, forever, right? Like when I look at that, I'm thinking like, hey, we're traveling this path together, and um, I guess you can get off at any time, but um, when you put a label on it, just things get complicated. And also, when you put a label on it, you're acting more as in choice than you are in like your feeling or your reaction. Um, Sometimes it's good to speak it into existence. I think that's something that can be very positive, but it can also really be negative where um, by choice you're putting a label on it, and maybe that label is dead end. Maybe at instead of what you're feeling, you're more making a decision that you don't need to do this anymore. I think that in itself can get really deep, and maybe that's I've had time to ponder on this one longer than most, so hopefully I can keep it under 20 minutes. But um, react on feeling, I'd say after a couple times, as you get tired of the trail. How long do you continue on that path before you make a change? I'd say you gotta feel that you're lost at least two or three times before I'm really even looking at turning around. But that's how I function. Um, Also, you have the thought of going down a certain path, or your way, and you have a mentality of well, this is the path I chose, so I'm going to continue to go. I'm not turning back. And mm, it's crazy how that spiral of, well, that's just who I am. Well, yeah, that's just how it goes. Well, yeah, I always do this. You're putting a label on the path. You're not able to change your way because you're already talking about not changing your way. Um, I've just seen that play out, and I had to voice it because it's kind of scary how close it is to me, and I'm thankful because it's shown me a lot, and it's allowed me to realize um, change is the only thing we're promised in life, and you gotta want change. You gotta want to divert off of that path. You gotta want to change your way. Otherwise, you're just going to continue down that same route. And that may not always be a bad thing, but if every time a negative comes up on that path and you're just like, this is who I am, this is what I do, this always happens, um, start marking those down. Really start making a note um, before it gets to the point where you feel like, you've taken a wrong turn on the path and you're just too stubborn to figure it out or turn around. You're just like, nope, this is who I am. I don't turn back. Here I go. Um, be careful to speak the same way into existence. Um, I've covered that over and over. I didn't even look at my notes. It just speak positive stuff into existence, even if it's crazy stuff. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like anytime something negative comes up in your life, you're just combat that with, I'm going to be a millionaire and see what happens, versus something negative comes up in your life and you're like, oh, that's just how they are. Or, oh, it's just never going to get better. I'm going to be a millionaire. That's the saying. Oh, man, I wrote really small. The path of least resistance. I know I've talked about this a couple times, and it kind of ties back into this because eventually, you're going to want to turn back. And um, when you look at putting a label on it, it can almost be an excuse uh, versus owning up to what happened or what's going on, or really just being honest. I think that's the best way to find your way and your path is you can engineer your own future. I've seen it happen, and that's not always the best place to be in. And that's what the world tells us to do is, you know, the American dream and the world tells you to go out and get what you want, but um, how do you know that's what you want? Just make sure that when it comes to speaking it into existence, that has a direct correlation into what you want and chase after that and really just find your way. Um, Side note, sponsorship, the WAZE app, WAZE, had to put this in here. If you haven't used that app before, I strongly recommend it just because when you get close to your destination, the GPS doesn't like start freaking out. And I know I've used Apple Maps so many times where it's like surefire point of where I'm headed, and I'll get within 500 feet, maybe a quarter of a mile, give or take, and it just starts freaking out and spinning me in circles and telling me to take U-turns and U-turns and U-turns and hopefully your life doesn't look like Apple Maps. And if it does, the first step is to switch to Waze because it'll even tell you where cops are at. I think it's pretty great. So I'm going to end this impact on a sponsorship. Action Impact number 19, WAZE.